Day 75 of the suffering. Guys, this is it. This is the final day, the suffering. It's done. It's over with. It's finished. Now, bear with me for a minute. And I wrote down a lot of stuff here, and I'm going to go over everything with this diet and the program and what I did. I'm going to get into all the details, the pros, the cons, how I felt, everything. I'm going to get into all of it. So I started this diet 75 days ago, and I decided I wanted to do something to challenge myself, and I wanted to do something really hard just to see if I was capable of doing something difficult and sticking to it. Now, I know I'm calling it a couple days early, but I'll get into that a little bit later in the video. Okay, so what the diet was how I dubbed the name The Suffering is because I was suffering through the type of food I was eating. I hate chicken breast. I hate brown rice. So I decided I want to do something that was going to be a challenge to me and my palate. So I did boiled chicken, brown rice, a little bit of olive oil, green beans, egg whites, oatmeal, and a protein shake. That's it. For 75 days, that's all I've eaten. No salt, no seasonings, nothing. The only flavor was the flavor of the food. Now I'm going to go over all my results and what I did. So in the last 75 days, I have lost 29 pounds in the last 75 days. That's a little under half a pound of fat per, well, half a pound. I'm not going to say fat, half a pound per day. The first 10 days, I dropped 11 pounds. The first week, the first 7 days, I dropped 11 pounds, pretty much all water weight. I don't feel like everything I lost was fat. I do feel like I lost a lot of muscle mass. So let me get into the pros and cons real quick. Okay, the pros about what I did as far as it goes for the diet. Easy meal prep. I mean, you just cook it all in bulk. Boil a bunch of chicken, make a bunch of rice, mix some oil in there, take the green beans out the can with no salt, and then cook some, put a little cake pan, put your egg whites in there, put them in the oven. Super easy, cook in bulk, done, easy, no thought to it, okay? The second thing was no thought process. Exactly what I said. There was no thought process to it. It was so easy. It wasn't about, I got to season it different or I got to do something to change it up. It's just super easy, okay? No heartburn. Didn't get any heartburn, any indigestion, nothing like that. The whole entire, except for the beginning, the first 3 days I got heartburn and indigestion. After that, I never had an issue with that. No upset stomachs, no stomach aches, no bloating, no gastro distress, no constipation, no diarrhea. And then that brings me to the next pro, which is good stool. Perfectly tapered stool. Like no wipe wonders. Like every time I would have a bowel movement, it was clean. It wasn't a mess. It was easy on, easy off. And it was like clockwork every day at the same time. Very consistent bowel movements. Lower blood pressure. I had elevated blood pressure. My blood pressure was like in the mid, like 130 to 140s over like 85 to 90. Now my blood pressure is around like 100 to 110 over 75, 80. So my blood pressure came down significantly. And then of course the weight loss. Okay, the cons of the diet. Extremely bland, extremely boring. Then there's feeling deflated and flat all the time from not having any sodium or salt. Low energy at times, not always, but there was a lot of times I had low energy and I felt just kind of lethargic and just a little drained. And then hard to get pumps. It was very difficult getting pumps in the gym, very difficult getting my vascularity going. And then not enough variety to get a complete nutrition. So like deficiencies and vitamins and minerals from not getting a bigger assortment of sources of food. Okay, so those are the pros and cons. Now I'm going to get a little bit more into this. Okay, so the mental side of this issue, the issues that I had on the mental side was I was always feeling small, always feeling weak, and always just feeling like I was withering away. I constantly felt small and deflated and just withering away. And it was just a mental battle the whole entire time. Like, am I doing what's right? Am I messing up? Am I making a huge mistake? Is this not right? Should I change it up? Should I quit? You know, what should I keep going? It was a constant mind game, but I stuck to it for 75 days straight. So regardless of how I felt mentally, which was a huge mental play, wanting to stop constantly on the diet, not because of cravings. Honestly, another pro of this, I didn't have cravings. I didn't have any cravings at all. I had no, after about the first 20 days of this, I had no cravings. I just wanted to eat when I felt hungry, and that was it. And in fact, hunger actually slowed down a tremendous amount where I actually wasn't even getting hungry between meals. In the first 20 days, I was hungry between meals. And then after that, I stopped getting hungry between meals, and hunger was honestly never an issue. I never had a problem feeling hungry or wanting to eat outside my diet. That wasn't an issue ever at all. So that's another pro about it. But I was doing 2,600 calories a day, and I feel like my metabolism, the only reason why I didn't feel hungry all the time is because my metabolism slowed down. But I consistently lost about, after the big first initial jumps, it started being about 2 pounds a week. Every single week is what I was losing. Okay. Another issue I had was always fighting through the doubt. Just constantly fighting the process of doubting everything I was doing, from the routine to the diet, everything. Another issue I had was so much cardio. It was physically draining, but also mentally draining. I started off doing 20 minutes on the Stairmaster in the morning and the evenings, and then I bumped it up to 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes in the evening, and then I went 40 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes in the evening, 5 days a week. It got to the point where my hips were bothering me, my knees were bothering me, my adductors, my hip flexors, everything, my lower back was just starting to really get tight and bother me. And it was just constantly aching from all the constant Stairmaster and the cardio. And then I also felt like I lost a lot of muscle mass on this too. I feel like I cardioed away a lot of my muscle mass. I did lose a lot of fat. You're not going to lose 29 pounds and it be all muscle. I lost a lot of water. I lost a lot of fat, but I also lost a lot. I'm not going to say it was like 10 pounds, 10 pounds, 9 pounds. I don't know what the percentages are, but all I know is like I did go, when I started this, my arms were around 17 and a half, 17 and 3/4, and now they're 15 and a half. Cold without a pump. These are measurements cold without a pump. So right now my arms are 15 and a half, and I'm 6 foot tall, and I weigh 206 pounds. So they look nice and lean, don't get me wrong, but they have gotten significantly smaller. Another con was, I kind of mentioned earlier, the pumps, like vascularity. I'm normally a pretty veiny person, and my wife loves veins, but I didn't really get a whole lot of vascularity. It was very hard to get vascularity and keep the vascularity. So I just felt like I cardioed too much. I felt like I was trying to compensate for my metabolism slowing down from the very steady diet and not changing nothing, that I had to compensate through cardio. And I felt like that was a actual mistake, to be honest. And I feel like I just cardio away a lot of, now the goal of this was to get my abs. I did not get my abs. I still have quite a bit of belly fat, right? I still got quite a bit of belly fat. But I lost a lot of hip fat. I lost a lot of lower back fat. I lost a lot of upper back fat. I lost a tremendous amount of fat everywhere, except for my stomach is going to be, of course, the last place my body's going to take it from. And I think that generally is how most people are. So I'm not too caught up on that. All right, my next little note I put down here is not losing more belly fat. It's kind of demoralizing whenever the whole goal was to focus on belly fat, but you can't pick where your body loses fat. You can't. It's just not going to happen. But seeing how lean my legs are, let's see if I can pick it up, but seeing how lean my legs are and how much like striations I have, and same thing for my hamstrings and my calves, and pretty much everywhere on me except for like my midsection is the only place it's like I don't really have a whole lot of fat. So it's like, okay, yeah, I started this at 235. I thought, oh yeah, when I get around 205, 200, I'll have abs. Well, I'm 206 and I still don't have abs. So I greatly underestimated the amount of body fat I still have. And I feel like, honestly, I cardioed away a lot of muscle mass, and actually my body held on to more body fat and got rid of more muscle mass and compensation of the diet remaining the same the whole way, all the way through, and increasing cardio. I really, truly feel like if I wouldn't have done so much cardio and I would have maybe carb cycled and played with my calories more, I probably would have lost a lot more fat and probably reserved a lot more muscle mass. Because where I was at, I don't feel like 29 pounds worth of body fat would have left me with a state of belly fat I have now. I feel like I would have actually had abs, but that's all hypothetical. What if, maybe, who knows? it is what it is. I had this itch. I had to scratch it to see what this diet and this style of cardio would do for me if I consistently stuck to it. I know 75 days isn't 90 days, but it's okay because we're going to be going into phase 2. I changed up the routine a lot. You know, I started off doing like more high intensity, slow, controlled, deep stretches with a hard squeeze and a flex, slow, controlled, hard squeeze and a flex, doing about 8 to 12 reps per body part. And then I changed that up to doing more volume. And then I went from, I was actually training everything twice a week, doing that style. And then I went to training everything once a week, doing that style. And then I changed up and I started doing rest pause and drop sets and supersets. And I changed the routine up as I felt like I got bored of it and I needed something different, right? I wasn't going to change the diet or the cardio. That was the whole thing the suffering was built on. The routine was just what I was doing to preserve muscle mass. The whole time it was workout to preserve muscle, not to build muscle. We're lifting to preserve, not to build. To preserve, not to build. Don't get hurt, don't get injured, and preserve muscle. So as I felt like I needed to change the routine, I would change the routine up. Man, I really messed up my shorts and my boxers when I lifted it up there. It feels weird. But as I needed to change it, I changed it up. Now I do feel like I did change my whole body mass, but like my whole body composition is different. Like I do look leaner. I do look like better. I look significantly better than I did at 235. But the only difference is I've downsized everything, not just my body fat, everything, including my muscle mass. I lost a lot. Now, I haven't had sodium and carbs, so when I start introducing sodium and carbs back in, I know I'm going to swell up probably 10, 12 pounds worth of water weight from the sodium. And well, I'm doing brown rice and oatmeal is not really the carbs I'm talking about. But when I go back to white rice and jasmine rice, and I start introducing like sweet potatoes and carrots and sodium, I know my body's going to hold on to a lot of that water, and then my body's water retention is going to go up. I'm going to get puffy, and then it'll come back down. So I'm not worried about it, but I don't think it's going to stay at 206. I'm pretty sure I'll be in like the mid 2 teens, maybe between like 212, 217, as I think where my body's going to level out with the sodium. So that's it for my notes, basically. Now, what I will say is overall, I'm very glad that I did this and went through with it. I don't have any regrets because this is something I needed to see it through to see how my results are going to be. I could have pushed to 90 days, but I'm going on vacation next week and I'm going to not be doing this for my vacation. It's my wife's birthday and we're going to be doing like a summer thing with the kids and stuff like that. So I'm not going to be like, I'm going to eat chicken and rice. You know, I'm going to enjoy things with my kids and family. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going off the rails because I'm going to slowly introduce sodium and carbs back in over this next week because I'm taking all of next week off from the gym. I'm not going to be working out, but I'm still going to be eating along the lines of what my next diet is going to be. I'm going to start introducing foods into my diet. That is what I'm going to be changing to. So whenever I get back from vacation the following week, I'll already be starting to get adjusted to the new diet and acclimated to it, which is I'm going to go into depth on what that's going to be, but it's going to be red meat, whole eggs, vegetables. I feel like I got deficient on vitamins and minerals from the restricted diet. So I'm going to add in a lot of things that are going to help bring in the micronutrients for my vitamins and minerals to get all my levels to optimal. Because like I said, I do believe I have arthritis and it doesn't bother me all the time, but I feel like my knees are a little more achy. My hands are a little bit more achy than what they should be if I was getting the proper nutrients to be able to kind of fight that. So I will be changing up my diet. I'm going to pretty much be doing the vertical diet. For those of you who don't know, it's a diet that was made by Stan Efferding. He is a just absolute phenomenal, like, fountain of knowledge. If you check him out, Stan Efferding, he is absolutely incredible. So I'm going to be kind of doing something along his diet book, not exactly, but I'm going to be taking a lot of notes out of his book that I'm going to be applying to my own diet. The training is going to change too. I'm going to change the training from 6 days a week to 3 days a week. The reason being is I started training 6 days a week last July. So from last July to this July, I've been training 6 days a week and training everything twice a week. So I went from doing 12 sets per body part per week to doing it twice a week, 12 sets per body part, 2 times a week, so 24 sets. And then I went up to 16 sets twice a week, which was 32 sets total. Then 20 sets twice a week, which was 40 sets total. So I went really, really, really high volume, high reps, high sets, high frequency, you name it. So I wanted to see if I gave my body a year to do high volume, how I would respond to that volume. Well, I didn't respond that great, to be honest. I did preserve muscle. I did get leaner. I do feel like I moved forward in the right direction, but I don't feel like I moved as far as I could go. So I'm going to drop the cardio and I'm going to go back to 3 days a week. I'm going to be picking the intensity up and dropping the volume way, 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 way down. When I used to powerlift, I would work out 3 days a week and I would not care how many calories I got. The minimum was 6,000 to 8,000 calories a day, and anything over that was a plus. I'm not going to do that, but I am going to get my calories up and I'm going to reduce my training down to 3 days a week. And instead of doing like 3 to 4 exercises per workout, I'm going to pick one exercise per body part for that workout. And whatever part of my body I feel needs the most attention is what exercises I'm going to pick. So if I feel like my center back needs more work for that back night, I'm going to focus on one movement and give it 100% on that area of my back to bring that up. So I'm going to work on a lot of my weak areas by picking one exercise per body part on the night of that body part. And I'm going to work out, like I said, 3 days a week. I'm going to train half the body Monday. Then the other half I'm going to train on Wednesday. Then what I train on Monday, I'm also going to train on Friday. The next week, the muscles I train on Wednesday will get moved to Monday, Friday. The muscles that were trained on Monday, Friday will get moved to Wednesday. So it's going to be twice a week, once a week, twice a week, once a week for the actual like body, like the muscle groups that are trained. And I'll go over all this later in a different video. I'm going to explain the exact routine I'm going to do. And I'm not going to be routine jumping and routine hopping this time. I'm going to follow this diet for 3 straight months. And I'm going to follow this routine for 3 straight months. Now, what I am going to do different though is I am going to have cheat meals. Now, I'm going to not have cheat meals. Saturday night, I'm probably going to go out to dinner with my wife. Sunday, I'll probably take my kids to breakfast, maybe go do lunch with them or go do dinner. I'll do something with them. It probably won't be a whole day Sunday, but I'm going to pick one meal out of Sunday to go do something with my kids. And I'm going to carb load. I'm going to get a lot of carbohydrates. I'm going to try to almost double my carbohydrates on Sunday or Saturday, from Saturday night to Sunday midday, something like that. I'm going to try to double my carbs so I can pick those insulin levels up and I can get my blood sugar up, get all my glucose and all my my storage is full, and just overload the muscle with a lot of carbohydrates to be ready for the next workout to go. I'm going to train with a lot of intensity, like I said, and I'm going to focus like I used to. Now, I'm not going to be powerlifting and I'm not going to be training for powerlifting, but the intent will be to get stronger on every movement I do. I'm going to start tracking my sets and my reps and my weights. So that way I can be very consistent on my progress, doing like a progressive overload style training, doing drop sets, rest pause, supersets, however I feel like structuring the routine for the day or whatever. But whenever it comes back around, the goal will be, okay, this is what we did last time on this. We're going to push forward. So that's going to be a lot different than what I did this time around. No cardio, 3 days a week, more intensity, less volume, more food, more whole foods, less restrictions. And I'm going to see where this takes me, because this next phase, phase 2, I'm still going to be in the pursuit for my abs. But the problem that I had with this was I was so focused on my abs and so tunnel vision on my abs, right? Everything else got neglected. So it's like more cardio, got to get the abs, got to get the fat down. More cardio, got to get the fat down, got to get the abs. I'm going to stop doing that. It's bodybuilding. I want to compete in bodybuilding and I want to overall total developed physique. In order to do that, I can't just focus on one area. I have to focus on 100%. So if my muscle mass is getting bigger and I'm getting better, that's great. If my body fat's coming down, that's great. I'm going to try to move forward and not backwards. So I don't want to put a bunch of muscle mass on and put fat on in the process and then have to go backwards to get rid of the fat and lose muscle in the process. I don't want to do that. You know, I don't want to go to the point where I'm like, I got to get bigger, so I'm going to overeat, put a bunch of fat on, and now I got to get rid of the fat. Now I'm going to lose all that muscle. I don't want to do that. Everything I do, I want to move forward. I want to put on muscle mass while dropping body fat. Is it doable? Yeah, it's just very hard to do. It's the longer way, main gaining, but it's not main gaining, right? I'm body building. I'm trying to build a whole body forward together. More muscle mass, less body fat. And then it's the end of July, so I'm gonna have pretty much the rest of the year to do this. Now, I might do this for 3 months, and I might decide to run this for the whole rest of the year and just try to get as big as I can for the rest of the year and decide, you know what, if the abs come, they come, but let's just try to get as big as we can for the rest of the year. Not fat, not putting on fat, not intentionally putting on fat. I'm going to keep my fat where it's at or less. And I'm going to do that through either dropping calories or adding cardio in. Maybe 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening, 3 days a week, maybe 15 in the morning, 15 in the evening on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays when I don't work out. I'm going to do everything I can to keep my body fat where it's at or lower while putting on as much muscle mass as I can, because hopefully the rest of this year goes a lot more efficiently than what these last 75 days did. Now, I'm not upset for what I did in these last 75 days. My body composition looks way better. I'm way healthier. My blood markers are way better. And I just look overall better. And then once I fill back up with carbohydrates and sodium, my muscles are going to look bigger. They're going to look more full. They're going to look more pumped. The veins are going to come back out. So it was a huge success. I think this diet and this routine was a massive success. Will I ever do this again? No. Boiled chicken and brown rice, if I can help it, I'll never do it again. If one day I hire a trainer, they tell me this is what we got to do, I'll explain to them what I did here. And then if they decide, no, it's what we got to do, it's what I'll do, but only under the supervision of a personal trainer getting ready to compete in a bodybuilding show. If not, I will never go in this direction myself on my own again. It was just not a fun time. And I want to have good workouts. I want to have great workouts. I want to have the fuel and the food inside of me to come in the gym and just crush the weights and have a great time when I'm in here. And doing that diet was very difficult, getting energy and getting pumps and being in here and being like, yeah. So I'm going to diet towards having what I need to enjoy my workouts and progressing forward both with fat loss and muscle mass. So that's it for the suffering, guys. This part of phase 1 is done. So now we're going to be moving on to phase 2. And I don't know what we're going to call it yet, but I'll figure out something whenever the time comes. So I'm taking off next week from the gym. I'm not going to post any videos. I'm going to go have some time with my family. I'm going to enjoy my family time. I'm going to give my joints a break, my shoulders, my hips, my knees, my back. I'm going to be doing tissue work. I'm going to go get massages. I'm going to do deep tissue, go to the chiropractor. I'm going to do everything I can to get my body ready, rested, and recovered for the next grueling 90 days to come. And then that 90 days might end up turning into, 180 days. Who knows? We'll see where it goes. But everyone that subscribed during this, thank you for watching. For those of you who are still watching right now, thank you. I really appreciate the support. I appreciate the comments and the likes. It helps motivate me to keep me going and keep me pushing. And I just like throwing it out there and showing like what progress is actual, like reasonable of what you can expect doing this type of stuff, like day after day after day, being consistent. So 29 pounds it's kind of hard to look at in a negative light, especially in 75 days. But I'm going to go ahead and end the video here, guys. Thank you for watching. I will be putting out another video, though, before I actually start the next routine, going over the routine and the exact diet and the meal prep. I'm going to go over the meal prep, exactly how I'm going to make my food, exactly what I'm going to do for the routine, and then how I'm going to be eating my diet. But all right, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video here in the next week or so.